You know that feeling when you get a truly genuine compliment? It just warms you up from the inside out. But let's be real, not all praise is created equal. So today, we're going to break down the difference between that real, heartfelt admiration and its, let's say, more manipulative cousin, the ego boost. Have you ever gotten the compliment that, I don't know, felt incredible in the moment, but then later you're left with this weird, nagging feeling? Like the timing felt a little bit off, or maybe it just seemed a little too perfect? Yeah, that feeling, that's exactly what we're going to unpack. So, what even is an ego boost? Well, think of it less as real admiration and more as a strategy. It's praise that's designed to get something, to achieve a goal. And sure, it might feel pretty good when you hear it, but it almost always leaves behind that feeling that something just isn't quite right.
Okay, so here's the core difference, laid out side by side. An ego boost, it's strategic, it's instant, and it's super vague. It's kind of like fast food for your soul, right? It's satisfying for a second, but ultimately, it's pretty empty. But real admiration is the complete opposite. It's genuine, it actually grows over time as someone really gets to know you, and it's always, always specific. So let's dive into the red flags that help us tell them apart.
First up, let's talk about timing. Seriously, when someone decides to praise you can be one of the biggest giveaways about what their real intentions are. Context is everything here.
So, suspicious timing usually shows up in one of three ways. First, the praise comes on way too strong, way too early. I mean, compliments from someone who barely knows you? That's not admiration, that's a tactic. Second, is it repetitive? Like, are you hearing the exact same praise over and over again? That's a script, not a real observation. And finally, you gotta watch for praise that magically appears right when you start to pull away. That's no coincidence. It's an emotional hook, and it's meant to pull you right back in.
All right, let's move on to the next set of clues, because this is where it gets really interesting. It's not just about when they say it, it's about what they say, and maybe even more importantly, what they don't say. Okay, this is a big one. The key difference here is often in the details, or, the total lack of them. Ego boosts are super vague. They rely on these big, sweeping statements like, you're just so special. I mean, it sounds nice, but what does it even mean? Someone who genuinely admires you will be specific. They'll point to something you did, a skill you have, a part of your character. They admire you, not just some generic idea of you. And sometimes, it's all in the delivery. The words might sound right, but the tone feels off. A little too eager, maybe a little too sugary sweet. This is basically your intuition waving a giant red flag. It often picks up on the fakeness long before your logical brain can put a finger on what's wrong. You have to trust that feeling. And that brings us to our final and honestly our most revealing category of red flags, the motive. You just have to ask yourself, why are they saying this and why are they saying it right now? Pay really close attention to what happens right after you get hit with a flood of compliments. If a request for help or attention or forgiveness always seems to follow, well, then that praise wasn't a gift. It was an investment. It's a classic manipulation tactic where flattery is just the price of admission for what they really want from you. And here's another motive, control. Just imagine you're angry or upset with someone, and then suddenly, out of nowhere, they start showering you with compliments about how amazing you are. This probably isn't some sudden, genuine realization. More often than not, it's a strategic move to shut down the conflict and get back in control of the whole situation. Now for a classic tell, the whole public versus private personality. Someone who's just boosting your ego loves an audience. They'll praise you loudly and proudly where everyone else can see it. But then, when it's just the two of you, that admiration often just disappears. It's replaced by distance or even disrespect. See, the public praise is for their image. The private behavior, well, that reveals the truth. So after looking at all these external signs, the timing, the words, the motives, it's time to turn inward. Because at the end of the day, the most reliable BS detector you have is your own gut feeling. Think about it. A real compliment just lands and settles in. It feels warm, uncomplicated. But an ego boost? It leaves this weird, confusing feeling behind. It might have felt good for a second, but your mind is left scrambling, asking those questions. Why now? What do they really want from me? That suspicion isn't you being paranoid, it's your intuition recognizing that you just saw a performance. Ultimately, it really just comes down to this. You have to listen to your body. Your logical brain can be tricked, it can be reasoned with.
But your physical intuition, that little knot in your stomach, that feeling of unease, it doesn't lie. Don't you dare dismiss that feeling. It's not just a hunch, it's valuable data telling you something is off.
Look, learning to tell the difference isn't about becoming cynical or bitter. It's about valuing what's real. And that leaves us with one final, really powerful question to think about. Looking at the people in your life, who offers that specific, genuine praise that just feels grounded and true? Who in your life is a true admirer? Because that kind of connection, well, that's absolutely worth holding on to.